So how's it going, everyone?
Very good.
Good to hear. So I am not sure where everyone's at with their wholesaling journey, whether you've been closing your first deal or you've closed your 100th deal. We're here to discuss where you're at in your journey and figure out what problems you guys are working on to grow to the next level. So I'd love to hear what kind of problems you guys are having in your business so we can figure out what we can do to help you and grow.
Whether it's your first deal or whether you're trying to get to 5 to 10 plus, whether you're a realtor and you're trying to add distressed sellers to your business, maybe flips, maybe wholesale. Obviously wholesale is our number one thing. We do have access to 6 million buyers nationwide. We're looking for people to collaborate with that we set up Zooms with and evaluate where we can help as well. But as of today, let's see what questions you have. What you got, Mama?
I don't really have any questions because I haven't begun yet.
That's okay.
I need to know, where do I begin?
Are you a realtor?
No.
Okay, all right. I don't know why I sensed you as a realtor, but you've been in sales. What have you done? You done? Okay. Okay.
I can do that.
All right.
Once I get the product knowledge.
For sure. For sure.
So same shoes with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that comes down to the book, Wealth Without Cash, or there's been a guy back in the day named Carlton Sheets had a similar one, but I wanted to break it down in a more simple fashion and call it Making Money Without Money. You know, because a lot of people actually tell you in this world that you have to have money to make money. There's actually a song in Detroit that goes, "It takes money to make money. That's the way it is in Detroit City." So it's not true. The reality is, if you have knowledge, if you understand contracts. I was a Michigan salesman that did nothing but real estate stuff, wholesale, flips. We started joining these amazing communities. Justin got me involved, and he took our business to a 10x level by dealing with so many different people and doing disposition for other great acquisition reps, like my friend right here, who's in Arkansas, who might want to scale his business, and he might have 1 or 2 or 10 go-to buyers, but I may have 300 go-to buyers within that area. Cast a wider net that's going to drive up the price, create a bidding war in a lot of cases. So even if he was paying us a percentage at the beginning, then he'd still be making more money with less work. So as he was saying, there's different things that we could teach. We kind of do need some specific questions. We do both, but we specialize in disposition for nationwide.
Since we have some new people, do you want to maybe get into what the difference is between?
Absolutely, absolutely. Great question, Aaron. Yeah, so go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, so acquisitions is where you're going to be finding either mainly homeowners, but there's different ways of finding homeowners who want to sell their house. You might be able to do cold calls to landlords or like just any homeowner in a neighborhood. Or you can try to find like more distressed people like pre-foreclosures, divorces, probates, tax liens, those kind of things. But those are you reaching out to them. Some of them might cost you very little money, but some might cost a lot of your time of cold calling and outreach. Another option that costs a little bit more money would be like getting Google and Facebook ads where the sellers are reaching out to you. So now you put an ad up, you might pay like $50, $100, $200 a lead. Like if you're running your own campaign, or you guys might see Lead Zolo around here, like trying to offer their services. Those are like different options of going direct to seller. So that would be like the option that costs money for the most part, because you have to do skip tracing or do the ads. But then you can do another option that's more free, which is reaching out to agents who they spent the money on the marketing and trying to find that seller, negotiating with them. Now you gotta spend time finding out if it's a good deal for an investor. Like, can I do a fix and flip on this? Can I buy and hold it? So you're talking to the agent and negotiating that deal, whether it's creative finance or cash, or that's like the first main option to get deals for free. But the second main option is you're here at SquadUp Summit and there's tons of wholesalers networking here right now who might need buyers for their deals. And you might know buyers local in your area who aren't at SquadUp, and then you'd connect those buyers to their deals. So then you're joint venturing with them and partnering, creating relationships. So that's what it also go into dispositioning. You having the buyers is what dispositions is.
So making money without money, as he was saying, you can contact the agent. Did you mention contacting the wholesaler?
Yep.
Okay. So there's a bunch of wholesalers. Obviously, you see a lot of people here are wholesalers. You as a newbie is the easiest way to get a deal. And this is where he took our business to the 10X level. Can you scoot up closer so he's my dad, but sometimes I act like his. And he taught me this part of the business, which I never ever did, because I'm always an older school, direct to seller, go to the house, look at the house, maybe be the buyer, maybe wholesale it, or maybe realtor list it, or this thing called novation that's pretty hot and heavy, but that's going to take, yes sir, what's going on, bro?
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Are there factors or systematic ways to identify good deal? So if I see a house, what are those things that I should look out for to identify that, oh, this is a good deal, I should go for this?
Go ahead, Justin.
I'd say the first thing I like to know is the motivation. The first thing I'd like to know is like the motivation of the client, because really I can't really make a win-win offer unless I know their motivation. If I don't know their motivation, I'm just gonna automatically lowball them as low as possible, like half of the value. And any house half of the value is a good property. So you just gotta be able to make enough offers that will get you a deal. And so most people will either say no right away or cuss you out, or they might counter offer you. Those are the people that might want to create a middle ground where you can create a deal. So those are really good people, but you can also have to look at the comps, do a deeper analysis, check out the rental value, like of long-term rents, Airbnb, Furnish Finder, Pad Split, which is rent by the room.
This way you're not only depending on flippers, you're also looking for buy and hold buyers that'll pay a little bit more, because flippers got to take as much meat off the bone as possible, because they're the ones that are going to put in the work. So it's always a wholesaler flipper battle, because we're trying to make as much as possible as well, because we have expenses as well, and we're providing the service that we not only are buyers, but we have 6 million plus buyers that are hungry and ready to buy these houses. So for someone new, to answer your question fully, the best thing to do is go after wholesalers and say, hey, I'm working with a team, whether it was us or another team. You know, obviously we're a great team to work with. So but you have to start underwriting a little bit. You have to start understanding comps. Going back to his question. So if it's just that, you're looking at the wholesaler's deal, you're looking at his comps, you got to start paying attention. We don't want people, which we do have a lot of people that, hey, we're giving them this method, then they bring us 20 deals. You know, 18 of them might be shit. So we don't have time to review every deal. So we need someone that actually is going to put in some work and look at the deal. Understand comparables. Were there 3 ranches next to this ranch that sold? And is there a lot of comps in that area? Are there recent comps? And then once you get past all that, the main thing is, if you connect us to that wholesaler and we do business with them and we work out a joint venture agreement, say like 20% for life, as long as you keep a friendship, rapport, relationship with that seller or with that wholesaler, and then they keep bringing us their business and you help them sometimes renegotiate. At the beginning, maybe we would help you underwrite and learn that a little bit. But the point is, you don't have to pay for the marketing, you don't have to pay for the leads, you're not doing pay-per-click, you're not hiring a VA, you're not calling yourself, you're talking to somebody else that already has a deal. And the ways you could do this is,
going on Facebook, going on Instagram. So like on Facebook, there's thousands of or hundreds of thousands of groups. Like if you search up real estate, Illinois, Dallas, Florida, California, any state or city you want, and there's then hundreds of thousands of wholesalers posting deals for sale. So just pick a market and text every wholesaler in that market, I have buyers for your deals, or I am the buyer for your deals, depending on what your avatar is and what you're trying to do. So
For somebody that is new, like this lady right here, how is she, there's a lot of riffraff in those Facebook groups. How does she protect herself to actually be inserted into that deal and not be excluded at some point? Because that can happen. Do you have any advice?
The main thing is you have to have a JV agreement in place before giving out any information for a buyer. Getting on a phone call with that person before working on the deal to build and gain that trust with that person before putting that time and effort.
Do you guys have thoughts on how long you pursue a particular marketing strategy? Like, how long should I try calling these leads before maybe trying to focus on another group, or before I start, I don't know, giving up this strategy and try door knocking, or thoughts on trying to figure out your market and when to figure out, moving to a different strategy?
I'll give that question to him.
So that strategy, to give up on a strategy, it really is, I don't really recommend it until maybe 3 months maybe, but you actually have to be working on it consistently every day, having enough volume, because certain marketing channels just have a longer conversion cycle. Real estate is a slower business. That's why you have to have such a large pipeline of leads that are constantly coming in at different times of the year.
One of the reasons why I asked that is I just recently hired a VA so that I can get that consistency. But I really still don't know what that lead to deal ratio is yet. Maybe volume, we touched on volume, maybe that's the key. Because right now, I think we're only touching on 200 numbers a day, right? Just to kind of getting into this with Deal Machine, building the process. Maybe I need to go to a multi-level dialer. The connect rate is good. I gotta say, it's 20+% connect rate. So,
what list are you calling?
So right now we were focusing on Tyler Landlord, just trying to get her ramped up, situated, and then we're gonna start getting into more probate, pre-foreclosures. I'll work on some door knockings. I'm reaching out to the senior community.
I like that strategy because a tired landlord is something you probably can get a little bit quicker than a pre-foreclosure and probate close. All right, boss, go ahead.
I think maybe you could get it closed sometimes faster. But
it's about the same conversion cycle, 2 to 4 months?
Foreclosures, you can close in a day. But it really a month.
Good point. He got me again. Thanks for the lesson, bro. He got me again.
So for somebody that's starting in a new market, let's say,
okay,
tapping into a new market, connecting with wholesalers, or connecting with this and that. How is the best way to find legitimate buyers in a new market that you haven't touched?
Okay, well, the best way for us was we got an account on Investor Lift. It was $6,000. Okay. That was our first account. Okay. Then we got another account. It was called Lieutenant Mode. Okay. It was $36,000. We got it for 18 because we had a hookup through Jerry Norton, and a bunch of people signed up together. We had 1 million buyers at that point. We had 750,000 of those buyers were in Texas because we had to choose that. And then after that, we did 6 figures plus in assignments and revenue for over 6 months straight. And now we pay $50,000 a year for cartel mode. Yeah, and that's all thanks to my guy right here, because I was just doing flips, wholesale real estate, and he just dove in since he graduated high school, worked 12 to 14 hours a day. Only thing we do is that, and go to the gym, a lot of steam room and sauna, not enough weights, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Mental muscles. So
how are you connecting with them? Okay.
But we're definitely open to working with you on that and giving you access to where we got quicker as that. But the other way would be Facebook groups locally, buyers, or buying into Investor Lift at the lower mode and then taking that slower route. But we can get you a quantum leap, by connecting with us and talking and doing an evaluation meeting and see what we can do. Great question though, but let me see what else.
So the question is, okay, you got those buyers. You got 1 million buyers. How do you
6 million plus now. Yeah, it turned to 6 million after the next round of. Yep.
Let's say for me, or somebody who's just starting.
Who's
starting is a new market.
Yep.
Why don't you guys just pass it around?
You got a list of people.
Yep.
Whether it's 10, 20, 100,000 buyers.
Yeah.
How are you going to make the first connection? Are they just, boom, sending you a deal? Email them a deal. Hey, I got this. What do you think? I see you did a flip this way in that area, in this market.
For sure.
Are you still interested in doing another one in that market, for example?
Yeah.
Is it by email? Is it by call?
You definitely want them on your buyer's list by email, but if you can get there, build a personal relationship with them. In 2019, while he was still in high school, I only had like 3 or 4 buyers in one local Michigan group. But a lot of times I would get stuck, because if one of those guys didn't want it, I was like, damn, man, I promised the seller I'm going to close. What am I going to do? I got to go back to them before the inspection period's done and say, hey, it's not going to work out. I got to back out. But if you want, I can list your property as your realtor or something because this is not going to work. But when you have a wider net, then you're not only getting the flipper who's like trying to make a killing, you're getting the guy, not only not make a killing, another guy might get construction for half the price because he's got his own crew, better materials, or they could be buying for buy and hold and they could not be as much of a stickler on pricing.
I'm in a smaller market.
What market? Jamaica?
Abilene, Texas.
Okay.
Texas market.
Okay.
Focusing locally before I branch out to go like to a bigger market.
Okay.
Just to learn it, I'm still kind of newbie stage.
Yep.
So if I'm in that market and say there's only, I guess my problem has been trying to get any kind of lead rather than focusing on kind of what you were talking about, like the marketing channel, like pre-foreclosures. I haven't really been focused on one. The last time I checked pre-foreclosures, there was maybe 3 in the city. So what would you recommend in a smaller market to is there like a certain...
If you're only doing a smaller market or like one market like that, I would literally get every possible piece of data and just call everyone in the city.
Just take everything in and not necessarily niche down on...
I would just try to call every homeowner in that city like 10, 20 times.
Are you a realtor?
No.
Okay. So I'm trying to think, because you could have probably used Vulcan 7. I think Mojo Dialer might have something too, where you just call people and if I can get you the right price for your house, would you sell it? And just open up the conversation with usually they say that, and then after that you do what he said earlier about evaluating the situation. And if you start feeling some distress and they need cash fast, then you could be an angel to someone and making it happen.
Your point about, hey, if I can get you the right price for your house, are you willing to sell it?
That
makes me think about like intros, right? Like I'm currently trying to build a little bit of anticipation. Like I'm looking for the owner of so-and-so.
Well, the difference here, when Justin told him to call everybody in the city, that is a straight cold call. So that's why you just hit them with that, so you can gotta get that. But if you're calling a tired landlord, is that who you said you're calling?
I'm
starting,
having them starting with that just to kind of build some familiarity.
Okay.
With making the cold calls and getting used to the scripts and getting her voice and bringing herself out.
She's a VA?
She's a
Where
VA.
are you getting your leads from? Batch?
Deal machine.
Deal machine? Okay. All right. So we actually buy leads in bulk from Batch Leads. We sell leads cheaper. We have a VA company. Yep. We're actually a preferred vendor on their site. It's called Speak Sync. The initial conversation for you is more like, hey, I'm calling a list of, I see you own this property that you're not living in and stuff, and basically what I'm doing is buying rental properties from landlords. Is this something you're open to selling? Yeah, yep.
So you tailor it really kind of based on the list that you're calling?
100%.
All right.
Yep.
I got it.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Got you, bro. Here. Get Justin's Blink card.
Yes,
I'm going to grab mine.
I did.
You got it? Okay, perfect. Perfect. You're welcome, brother. Good to meet you. Greg again. Greg Stewart.
John.
Pleasure, man.
Same here, then.
Apologies for not standing up right now.
No.